Evening and thanks for joining us tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Sasha Loftus. We start with breaking news tonight. Police are investigating a homicide on East Fremont Street near Atomic Liquors. Our team is standing by right now where we are waiting on a press conference from Metro Police for the latest on this. Let's take a listen.
Suicide investigation near the intersection of 9th and Fremont. The details that I'm sharing right now are very preliminary, but at around 2:30 this afternoon, Metro Police received a report that there was a male and a female deceased in an apartment directly behind me. Medical personnel arrived and both were pronounced deceased. What we have learned is that a male and female lived together in an apartment. On Tuesday, they were last seen together. There was a resident who lived in the apartment who described hearing the two of them involved in a domestic-related argument. That was on Tuesday. We know this afternoon someone who lives inside the apartment received a phone call from the woman who is deceased, or from the woman who was found deceased inside the apartment. That phone call was their employer stating that they had been a no-call, no-show at work for the last couple of days. At that point, a resident made entry into the apartment and discovered both bodies of the male and the female. So right now we are in the process with our crime scene technicians to examining the crime scene, but the preliminary examination does appear that it is a murder-suicide investigation. So I'll take a couple questions if you have them, but it is very early on.
Can you go over what you were saying just about the call that came in? Go over that part again.
So the initial call that came in was from a neighbor who had went and checked on the occupants. That neighbor was able to obtain a key. They went inside and found both the male and the female. That same neighbor is the person who heard them arguing on Tuesday, and that person had received a phone call because they're very close to the deceased, and that phone call was basically saying that the female was a no-call, no-show at work, and that's what prompted the welfare check this afternoon.
Did she receive that phone call directly, or was that in their apartment?
They received that phone call directly, asking them to check on them.
And do you know the manner of death at this point, if it's gunshot wounds or?
The preliminary examination we believe is going to be both from gunshot wounds.
Do we have an age of the victim?
So both deceased, the male is going to be a white male in his early 40s. The other deceased is a white female in her early 50s.
And do you believe that it's the male that ended up shooting the female and took his own life?
I don't want to go there right now just because we haven't been able to move and examine the bodies in the crime scene. Right now, it's still a couple hours away from making that determination.
Is it believed that that happened today or sometime, or is it known in what time period that happened?
I'm certain it did not happen today. I would say from the initial examination of the bodies in the scene, I'd say probably within the last couple of days or more than 2 days. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that was Lieutenant Ray Spencer with Metro Police talking about a homicide. Preliminary investigation appears to be a murder-suicide at an apartment on Fremont Street right next to Atomic Liquors there. We're told a man and a woman were found by a neighbor and friend inside an apartment there. Both died from apparent gunshot wounds. Apparently that person had received a phone call from the woman's work saying she had not showed up to work for the last few days and asked that person to check on her. Of course, this is a developing situation. Again, an apparent murder-suicide based on preliminary investigation there on Fremont Street. We will, of course, have the latest for you all through the evening on air and online. Turning now to the war in Ukraine. Russian forces are closing in on Ukraine's capital city of Kyiv. And as the attacks rage on, more and more civilians are getting caught up in the fighting there. In Ukraine's southeast, Russian tanks fired at residential buildings in the port city of Mariupol. To the northeast in Kharkiv, people are hiding in subway stations while Russian forces bombard that area. The capital, Kyiv, woke up to air sirens. Nearby, explosions signaling that Russian troops are closing in.
The tactics that Russia is now using in Ukraine is the same one as they used in Syria. This kind of tactics brings enormous civilian losses.
Yesterday, President Biden revoked Russia's trade status and banned the import of Russian goods like caviar, vodka, and diamonds. Baby's Bounty will be providing diapers and supplies to Ukrainian refugees in Poland in wake of the ongoing invasion from Russia. They're asking for our community's help and donations, trying to reach a goal of $100,000. As of now, the nonprofit already has 5 pallets of diapers and supplies ready to ship off, and each pallet is about 16,000 diapers, rather. Kelly Maxwell, the executive director of Baby's Bounty, says the situation in Ukraine has left her heartbroken, and she wanted to take action any way she could.
That feeling of helplessness when you watch something happening across the world doesn't settle well with me. So I wanted to help where I could, and I know diapers.
The hope is that these supplies will be delivered to refugees in the next coming weeks. If you would like to donate to the cause, you can stop by their location on Desert Inn or go to the link up on our website, 8newsnow.com. As for supplies, new baby blankets are in high demand right now. A Las Vegas man is still on the ground in Ukraine, doing what he can to protect children in his care. We first introduced you to Mark Davis a few weeks ago. He runs Abundance International, a nonprofit that houses orphans across the country. As the violence intensifies, he and others have to work harder to keep these kids safe.
We did not really believe it was going to come to this.
2 weeks ago, the world flipped upside down for Mark Davis and the children he cares for in Ukraine.
You can't explain to an infant what war is.
He's a Las Vegas native, but lives overseas to run Abundance International, a nonprofit that houses orphans across the country. Since Russia's invasion on February 24th, this is where those children are living, in bomb shelters, as fighting continues in their home cities of Mykolaiv and Kherson, which Davis says is now mainly controlled by Russian forces.
We can't do anything for them. I can't get past the tanks and into Russian territory to bring supplies.
Mark tells us he's done everything he can to keep himself and others safe, but wants people in the valley to know there are ways to make a difference.
I want to be that conduit, that bridge between people whose hearts are here and giving them a chance to actually do something real.
Every donation or offer to help kids get the supplies they need makes the hardest of times just a little bit brighter.
Amazing things are happening among the darkness.
So far, Mark tells me all the children in his organization's care are safe, but he believes they have a long road ahead of them. If you'd like to help, we have more information on our website, 8newsnow.com. Meantime, gas prices continue to climb due to the war in Ukraine. Here at home, our average price is inching dangerously close to $5 a gallon. The average price right now is 1 cent higher than yesterday at $4.94. That's up more than 70 cents from a week ago and more than $1 from a month ago. Currently, the national average is $4.32. Remember, these are average prices. In some areas, gas has already exceeded $5 a gallon. Take a look at this. Las Vegas Fire and Rescue tweeted out these photos today. They show a van completely destroyed after it caught fire at the 7-Eleven near Pecos and Washington. A fuel pump and canopy of the gas station were damaged there. Luckily, no one was hurt. Sally, over to you.
Sasha.
This is your weather now.
Sasha, well, what a gorgeous Saturday we had. Sunset kicked in at 5:46 p.m. and outside right now we're tracking those current temperatures for you, Las Vegas. 65 degrees, 63 for you, Henderson, and wind speeds remaining pretty quiet at this hour. We'll eventually drop conditions a little bit more, especially around 11 p.m. to 51 degrees under clear conditions. Coming up, we have much more to talk about. Daylight saving time. It's time to spring forward. A disturbance will bring us clouds and winds and then warmer weather on the way. Back to you.
Sally, thank you. A traffic alert for you in the East Valley. Taking a live look here at Nellis and Bonanza this weekend. A series of marathon construction work begins at that intersection. The east side will be closed all weekend. Next weekend, they will work on the west side there. Expect delays in the area and take a different route if you can. Work started last night and ends Monday morning at 6. Today, Container Park is holding its 3rd annual Sham Rock the Park. The St. Patrick's Day celebration has bottomless beer walks with live music and giveaways. They also have Jameson drink specials. If you want to go, you can grab a ticket online. The fun ends in about 2 hours tonight at 8. And in honor of St. Patrick's Day, the Chicago River was dyed green today. What a tradition this is. It began when a member of a plumbers union suggested using a dye used to detect leaks in large buildings to change the color of the river. The Chicago Plumbers Union uses 3 boats, 2 with the secret sauce and a chaser vessel to mix it all up. The river is predicted to remain green from anywhere from 1 to 3 days following the holiday. Coming up next here at 6, the latest news in the COVID-19 pandemic to a new study about immune cells. That's coming up in this week's Top Health Stories. Plus, the Rebel Girls are dancing their way to an international competition. How you can help them get there.
And when we return, I'll tell you how your recreational forecast is shaping up. You're watching 8 News Now at 6. We are live, local, now. Keep it here.